fourth at Ironman Lake Placid in 2012. Her best time, of course, those of you who don't know what Ironman is, that's a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike. I know, you all know what Ironman is. And a 26.2 run. We do have a lot of first-timers, you know. And finished at Ironman in 9 hours, 36 minutes. So we'd like to introduce you. Welcome, Ms. Suzy and Serpico.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to try this without a mic. I naturally have a loud voice, so if you can't understand me, just raise your hand and then I will gladly get the mic. Can you guys hear me back there? Okay, good. So, first question, how many of you, is this your first time event? Awesome. How many of you are a little nervous? Okay, I'm going to tell you, I've been in this sport 15 years. I'm racing tomorrow. I'm nervous too. So that is completely normal. Hopefully what I'm going to go over today is going to help those nerves just a little bit. Again, as they mentioned, my big thing I'm going to talk about today is transition. It's kind of like the fourth sport. So first and foremost, did you all go in and get your packets? Okay, what you're going to do after that, hopefully today, after you stay for the course talk, is you're going to be dropping your bike off over at the park. Before you go and do that, you want to make sure that you put your number on your bike, because what you have to do today is you need to rack your bike in transition. Can't set up your transition, but you want to rack your bike. One of the hardest things is, how do I rack my bike? Where do I rack my bike? With CTA, they're very nice that they actually have your racks pre-numbered. So whatever your number is, when you go to transition today, they are going to have it pre-racked for you. So a bunch of people are going to help you. They'll say, all right, you're number 268. You're going to go find where that rack is. The biggest thing where people have a little confusion of is, how do I rack my bike once I get there? So if, let's say, for example, my number right here, I think this is like 408. Say this is my number right here. There's going to be a sticker on this side. It's going to have my number, and I think it's going to have my name on it. On the opposite side right here is going to be the next number, and then another one, and then another one. So it alternates. If this is my number right here with my sticker, I need to have the wheel down on that side. So it would say 404, Suzy Serpico. I'm going to take my bike, rack it by my seat. Does everyone see how that is? All yours should rack nicely like that. My wheel is down on this side. Okay, if you guys can't see that, you can stand up, but my wheel is down, which means the next person, their wheel is going to be down on that side. So you alternate. The reason you have this, and one nice thing about this, is this is going to designate where your transition spot is, where you're going to set it up. But that's tomorrow. What I want to give you and what I want to hopefully help you out today with is, when you do rack your bike, tomorrow morning there are going to be 3,000 bikes there. It's going to be very overwhelming. Today when you get there, once you rack your bike, I want you to actually walk through the transition. Start by where, let's say this is where I'm coming out of the swim and you all are the bikes. I want to count how many racks I have until I see my bike. Because you'll get up tomorrow and you're going to be, I know at times I've spent 5 minutes trying to find my bike because I didn't count. There's 3 things you can do. You can count the racks. They also have numbers on the racks to help you out. And you can also do a landmark. If I know that that tree right there is kind of where my bike is, that's going to help me guide. But you're going to remember, you're coming out of the swim, you're going to be standing straight up, and you have to try to find your bike. So what I would do today, while you're a little more relaxed, is get your bike set, go to where you're going to be coming out of the swim. Walk through the transition. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 racks. That's where my bike is. Then you want to do it the opposite way, because in transition of this race, I'm going to swim in this way, bike out that way, and then it's going to be opposite as you come in. So I might be the 4th rack going this way, but when I come back this way, I might be the 6th rack. Does that make sense? So tomorrow it's going to be a little harder to do that because it's going to be crowded. So I suggest today when you get there, just get an idea and practice where your spot is. So you come out of the swim, count your racks, get the landmarks. You can even get your bike and walk it towards where you're going to be heading out to bike, and then reverse it. You're going to be coming down that hill a little bit, count how many racks, because that can be the worst part if you don't know where your bike is. Does anybody have any questions about that? Does that make sense? Again, the more thing you can do to prepare for tomorrow, best it's going to be. So tomorrow morning you're going to get there. I know transition opens up at 4:45. First thing you're going to do is you're going to get body marked, even before you bring your stuff. Just get your numbers all marked on you, one less thing that you have to do. What I bring here is a transition bag. How many of you have a bag like this? Okay, you can fit a lot of stuff in there. It might rain a little bit tomorrow. It might be a little chilly. So tonight, Practice with everything you think you might need. Doesn't mean you're necessarily going to use it, but at least you have it. With it being a crowded race, what I always bring, this is about the size of what your transition can be. Okay? Don't expect it to be like a big beach towel or something like that. It might even be something like this. But you have to remember you need to be sharing along with everybody else. Okay? Do you have to bring a towel? No. But sometimes this just designates your little area to help you set up. So, again, with one of the reasons we have you racking with your wheel down, that is the side you want to set up your transition on. If I set up my transition back here, I need to then take my bike out and in reverse. And it's a lot more messy. So to be a little quicker, a little more efficient, you're going to take your towel or your transition and you want to set it up right next, almost under the wheel of the person right here. Okay? Again, if you use a towel, you want to kind of, again, save space, maybe something like that. And kind of walk through. And here, I'm going to go bike first. What do I need for the bike? I need my shoes, something to help out. Have them unvelcroed, have them untied, whatever kind of shoe you have them so that they're ready to go so you can just slip them in. Again, I put that on there. I need my helmet. Ladies, how many of you wear ponytails? Okay, if you're planning on wearing a ponytail for the swim, it doesn't fit well for your helmet. Make sure that tomorrow when you get there, you have your hairstyle as it needs, but also make sure you have your helmet ready to go, because you might have had a different style when you rode your bike last. So make sure you have it ready to go. Again, same thing. Have it unbuckled. This is a personal preference. You will see some people actually leave their helmets on their bikes like this. Okay? My thing about that is all it takes is somebody to accidentally run into your bike, your helmet falls over, and then you spend some time trying to find it. You can do it either way. I would just put it right on top of your shoes. That way, first thing on is your helmet. You cannot leave transition without your helmet buckled. That is the first thing you need to make sure. And again, make sure it's here, not back here, here. You want to put it on correct, make sure you have that on. If you wear sunglasses, probably tomorrow it's going to be a little shaded. You might not need them, but if you need your sunglasses, have them out. Again, anything to save you some time, have them open and ready to go. If you wear socks, I suggest make sure they're the right size you need. Some people like to fold them a little bit to give their foot a little thing, but I suggest have them, put them actually one in one shoe and one in the other shoe, and then you're ready to go. That's all I need for the bike. Do we need our numbers on the bike? We do need it. You do need to wear them. And I'll check with Carrie when she gets here. How many of you have a race belt? Okay, if you don't have a race belt, I know that they are selling them in there. This is a nice thing. If you are planning on pinning it on your shirt, when you bike, it's going to bunch up a little bit. It's going to get a little uncomfortable. The nice thing, and don't say this, I fold my number because then it's not flapping in the wind. I put it on. If you need it for the bike, throw it in the back. And then when you run, flip it, put it all right here. Okay? But I suggest this is your best thing that you can do. And they're, I think, $5, $7, $10 based on what kind you get. If you get one, you can stick your gels in here if you need them for the run. But again, have it unbuckled. Anything to save you some time, have it unbuckled, have it right there. So I'll check to make sure, okay, that's what I need for the bike. Another thing for the bike. How many of you have seen the course? Have seen where transition is? Okay? First, once you get your bike, you're going to be kind of jogging up a grass hill. Be careful because it will be a little wet. Second, transition, the first bike starts at a hill. Make sure your gears are set to climb a hill. Okay? Either change it today before you get there or change it first thing in the morning, but you want to make sure your gearing is set up to climb a hill, not flat, because then it's going to be, you're going to find that's a little tough to get going. So that's another thing that you can do. After I have my bike stuff, then I'm going to go to my run. For me, these are my running shoes. How many of you have seen of the lovely lock systems or any type of elastic system in here? I use the lock laces. Phenomenal thing that you don't have to change your shoes. All you do, here it is, shoe on, I'm ready to go. You don't have to bend down, take the time to tie your shoe. Then any extra time that you can do, I have my shoes, gonna put them back there. I run in my visor. I put that right there. that is pretty much all you need for transition. If you do happen to have, I don't think I have anything, like a goo or any of your nutrition or an extra water bottle, keep it here. But, again, this is all confined into that little space. With my bag, I can't just take my bag and leave it right here. I suggest, I don't know if they're going to allow you to put it back against the fence or give it to somebody, or you might have to go back to put it in your car. But you can't just leave this bag hanging out right here. Okay? What am I missing?
I would just suggest, guys, that sometimes less is more. On the front of your packet that you guys got, I think there's a section to bring. I mean, bring whatever you want. I don't recommend pulling out your top drawer in your bag, but less is more. You can see all she has there is 2 pairs of shoes, a helmet, and a visor, and a race belt. You know what I mean? She doesn't. She's got some things in her bag, but I mean, you really don't. Just think about what you need. Less is more. You don't need to be in transition. You know, making yourself knitting a sweater or anything like that. You know what I mean? Less is more.
Here is my theory. So tonight when you guys go, I know that TTA does not allow trash bags and stuff on your bike. It's not very go green anymore. So I know that I have a rack jacket and I think they do sell them in there. I was telling some people before, you'll go into some races and you'll see that the only thing that people cover is their bike seat with a swim cap. If somebody can explain that to me, that would be fantastic. But your bike seat's going to get wet in the race because you're coming out of the water, so I'm not quite sure of that. But if you want something like this, you can cover it, but...
It needs to be on the approved list of
yeah.
covers. There's an approved list of covers that needs to be on.
Yeah, so that's tonight. But once I take this off tomorrow, if it's raining, my bike's going to get wet anyway. I would suggest bring a towel tonight, or bring a towel tomorrow, that you can kind of wipe your bike off a little bit. As for that stuff right there, you could bring a, like maybe a bag like this to cover on top and put something on top of it. But again, if you're going to be wet, you're going to be wet. You know what I mean? Having dry shoes, if your feet are already wet from rain on the bike, they're already going to be wet. Unless you wanted to spend time to wipe your feet off and stuff, which I think you're going to be wet.
You can spend time to wipe it. I mean, you can wipe it, again, if you wanted it in a sweater, you could. I mean, there's nothing against it. I mean, it's really just based on what you're comfortable with. So, I mean, it's not something you have to rush through. You'll see Suzy that she's a pro. She'll be in and out in under 30 seconds, which is pretty amazing to watch. We should actually have you do a time one. But yeah, you'll see some of the more experienced athletes will do it very quickly, but you don't have to. You can go in, you can walk through. No one says you have to run through transition. You can walk through, find a spot, let your heart rate come down, do what you need to do, and then go. So there's no rule on how quick you have to do it. But and in some cases, it might be better to do it slower to do it right than to go back and forget something or do it wrong.
Yeah.
But again, less though is still more.
But again, as for the rain, if it rains tomorrow, here's the thing. One suggestion I have, you can't control the rain. That's something that we can't control. If it rains, but you can control how you race. You can control everything that you set up. You can control that. You can't control the rain. So if it rains, it rains. If it doesn't, perfect. Yes?
Is there any difference if you're on a relay?
So with the relay with transition, you all each, how many of you have gotten your timing chips? Timing chip, if you don't, make sure that's the first thing you put on in the morning. With the relays, okay, you cannot make transfers unless you are at your rack. So what part are you doing? The bike. So you're going to set up your bike exactly the same way. You guys probably don't need to set up a transition at all. You just need to have your bike here. When your swimmer comes and you're waiting by the bike, I'm going to suggest for you, you be the one that reaches down and gets this, puts it on your leg, because she's just getting out of the swim. She's going to be a little disoriented, a little bit tired, and then you go off with the bike. When you come back to the bike, meet your runner at your rack. And then she should get the chip because you're coming back from the bike, and then she'll head out. One thing I'm going to say for you all, how many of you have not done a swim to bike yet? Okay? What's going to happen, and this is normal, today when you go, it is actually a pretty long transition from when you get out of the swim to your bike. No one says you have to run it, okay? What's going to be happening is you're going to be like this for a while. Your blood's going this way. Suddenly you're expected to stand up. Most likely you might get a little disoriented. That's okay. Take your time, walk until you feel good, and then if you want to run, start running. But that is completely normal. You're here, suddenly now your blood's changing where it's going. So if you feel a little weird, a little tired, your legs don't quite have your legs, that's normal. Normal, normal, normal. Yes?
Is that a barefoot
It's barefoot, but it is all on grass. It is on grass, so it's very nice. It's not going to hurt your feet, but it is, I don't know what the distance of it, but it's, yeah. Yeah. Well, the nice thing is it's going to be lined with people, so they're going to be yelling and cheering at you, so you're never going to be alone out there. I'm telling you, you're going to have a blast. Yes? You mean tomorrow morning before it closes? Transition opens up at 4:45. If I'm correct, I think it closes at 6:45. And then you can't get back in. I mean, unless you're a relay, the relays can stay in there. But normally after that, I know because the pros, we go off at 6:45. So they want to allow, some of you that are in the last wave, it's unfortunate that you're going to have a lot of wait time. But they just want to allow the transition area to be clear. Yes?
You have to wear for the different position for this running.
The running. Terry will talk about that more specifically of where you need to run it. I know a lot of times just make sure you have it on the front for the run, for pictures, and especially towards the finish.
How about for the bicycle?
I'm not sure.
I don't have the belt, I forgot, but
Oh, you can get one in there. Yeah, I'm not sure. That would be a question to definitely ask Terry.
okay.
Yeah.
How about if somebody want to change the clothes, like for the swim, bathing suits, to for the running or whatever?
Changing, what do you wear in the transition? Obviously, I mean, I don't need to say this, there's no nudity there.
Right.
So, you can't, I mean, some people don't really realize that what should I be wearing and all that kind of stuff. You can swim in a bathing suit, that's fine. The water, that's not wetsuit legal. There's speed suits. How many of you have heard of the speed suits? Okay. I think the speed suits are really labeled wrong. They don't give you any speed. There's no buoyancy to them. But if you want to wear your bathing suit in the swim and while you're in transition, have a pair of shorts to put on and over top, that's fine. You got to wear what you're comfortable with, but just, again, you can't, it's not like you're going to have some place to change. You know, it's all out in the public. So.
If you're wearing a bathing suit, you're going to be most likely doing the entire race with the bathing suit on underneath you.
And I will give you a trick, and I know this kind of seems like TMI, but I'm going to tell you a trick, and this is my little trick. Why? Why not? We're all girls and we're all here. And again, it's these little things. So a lot of you are like, oh my God, I have to go to the bathroom. If you have to go to the bathroom, there's not porta potties really right set up in transition. Okay? Again, might be TMI. What you can do, it's grass. Sit down on the grass. Go in the grass. Then you don't have to worry because here's the thing. On the bike, you're going to be on that bike for 16 miles. What are you going to do? There's porta potties along the way, but it would be better to go. And again, it's TMI, but let me tell you, it works. If you have to, because you're going to have to go find something. And this is things you guys don't think about. But you're going to be in the water for a while. You're going to come out. Then you got to go on the bike. You know what I mean? Just say, hey.
Never wondered what the pros do. That's literally what they do. You got bike behind you, you can sweat.
But again, this is the insider tricks of transition. That's some things you don't even know. It's okay. Yes. 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 I know that they're going to be, so getting into transition, there are going to be what we would call security guards at each area where they're not going to let you in, A, unless you have your wristband, and B, if it's at a certain time. So I think starting, and again, Carrie can talk about a little bit more, of what time they'll start letting you get back into transition. Now, you can probably go into transition and get your bag and stuff, but I know there's a certain time that you can then check your bike out. If you are done and there are people racing, just make sure you stay to the side. You know, they have the right of way, and it's got to be frustrating if they're out there and they see people getting done. You see them, cheer them on.
The finish line and transition, remember, are in two different spots. So most people, when they finish, they're hanging out for a while in the finish line area, go up and get some food. So it's usually by the time you would want to maybe make it, unless you've got to get out of there, you know, right away. By the time everybody makes it back to transition, most of the race has really gone through all the stages, most of the race. So it's not, you know, it's not like crazy things are going left and right.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're an average athlete, you know, average across the board, you will not see, there will never be any crossover. You'll be fine. Everybody's going the same direction at all times.
Yes.
If it's chilly tomorrow morning, will there be a place to like ditch some clothes before so we don't have to hang out in bathing suits for 45 minutes or so?
I would say if you have somebody with you, just throw them the clothes. If not, if you have something old, you can throw it, but I don't think you're guaranteed it back.
Okay.
But yes, I mean you do, and you guys do have a little bit of a walk from transition to the swim start. Yeah, and that I would say is on gravel, is on a path. So if you have an extra pair of flip-flops or an old pair of flip-flops you want to leave there, or bring a pair of shoes that you can give somebody else. But so getting out of the water into your T1 once the races start, that's all grass. But walking from transition to the swim start is on path. So, I mean, you can do it barefoot, but it's a little painful. Anything else? Yes?
Yeah, two questions.
Yes.
Are you racing with this?
Yes.
Or is that just to get into the transition and set up your bike?
No, you're going to keep this on the whole time.
Okay.
Yes.
And then what's the body
Marking?
Body marking.
Just so they can identify your body. Yeah, so they'll get there tomorrow, they're going to put your number here, and then your 8. Yeah, you don't do it at all.
Okay, I didn't know what it
Yes.
was. When you guys get there in the morning, if you come into transition, there'll be a line of people with markers, and they'll be saying, body marker, kind of like popcorn. So it'll be obvious who they are. They're in a line. You have to go through them to get in. They're going to body mark numbers on your arms. I don't know what the exact procedure is. Every race is different, but the numbers. But also, my recommendation, I told you or some people earlier, if you're going to put on any kind of suntan lotion or any lotion or oils or anything of that nature, try to do that after you get body marked. It's really hard to write on the skin when it's all lotiony with permanent marker, and then it just ruins the marker and we can't mark anybody else out.
And try to do it around your number, because if you put it right on your number, it's going to smear. So just kind of, and then you can get a little sunburn with your tattoo. Carrie will talk about that in about 8 minutes. Okay. Yes, I'm not sure about that exactly. Anything else? Yes. Tips, put it on first thing you get in the morning and don't take it off until the finish line.
So same with
Yep. And I'm going to suggest your gears are on the right side. Put your chip on your left ankle. Your timing chip's still going to work no matter what it is, but if you put it on your left ankle, do that first thing you get up. Put it on. Even put it on tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no chip, no time. Yes. No. Oh, wetsuit. Oh. We'll have to check tomorrow. They'll make that call. Carrie will talk about that. Wetsuits.
Yes, we will make that call tomorrow.
What's the water temp?
79.8, I believe, this morning.
What? Wow, I take that back. Wow. Carrie will talk about exactly what there's legal limits and stuff. Again, I'm just here for transitions. I don't want to say anything. And anything else about transitions specifically? Again, when you go and rack your bike, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of going in to get yourself, find where your bike is, coming from swim to bike and also coming from bike to run. So, yeah.
Can we give a big round of applause for Miss?
Thank you.